Hey kids, today we're going to cook some seafood gumbo. This is a recipe that I got off, actually I don't remember, I've had this recipe for a while. I think I actually got it off the internet and then I tweaked it with recommendations from a Cajun friend of mine and just cooking it a couple of times a year for the past 10-12 years, I guess. I've added and reduced and you tweak stuff. So I'm gonna kind of take you through how I do it, and honestly it varies every time I do it because sometimes I don't have all the ingredients I think I have. Sometimes I decide I want a little more crab meat, or I want a little less crab meat, or sometimes the shrimp are different. I'm going to use Carolina shrimp this time. But anyway, just this is just how I do it, more or less when I do it, and it's how I'm doing it for Thanksgiving 2016. So hope you like it, and we'll get started. Happy Thanksgiving. We're gonna make a pot of gumbo today. We, meaning, the royal we. I got a skillet with a cup of oil here. A quarter cup of that is bacon drippings. And the rest is just Wesson. And a cup of oil here, and we're going to warm that up just a little bit more. And then we'll add it and get it going. Let's take a look at it. Got my penny right here, so I'll know when it's done. Okay? Got to be that color. Which is, by the way, 1979, which was wonderful and horrible all at the same time. Okay, I'm going to let you watch me do this. I'm not sure why, but I guess I'm just having fun with the camera. And I realize I'm handling flour and I've got a black t-shirt on, which was funny a few minutes ago because when I dumped it into here it kind of fell in one big lump and flour went everywhere. So you can't pour flour, okay? Just in case you didn't know, I didn't know. Okay. So here we go. We got just regular old flour and a cup of oil. We're going to spoon it in here. I like to do this in the skillet instead of in the pot because it's cast iron, Anyway, I'll have to transfer this to the stock pot once it is ready. And that's always a trick because this thing's heavy. But not as heavy as the stock pot would be if it were made out of cast iron, which if it were, I would be doing this there. Okay, so I don't know if you can see any of that. I'll move the camera here in a second so you can get a shot of it. But right now I can't stop, so it's going to take me a minute to delumpify this stuff. Alright. So, right now it kind of looks like dumplings. Alright. Here we go. So, you don't want to cook this too fast. It'll scorch, and then you got to start over because the way your roux, the quality of it, the extent to which it's browned in your cast iron skillet really determines the base flavor of your gumbo. And you don't want it to taste like it's been overcooked. And if you've ever made gravy, you know that you can go too far before you know it. At the same time, you don't want to take all day with this stuff because it's under, because you don't have enough heat. So cast iron, you have to cook with lower heat settings because unlike other materials, it holds the heat. So, you know, with something like this or something like this, a bunch of your heat's just dissipating and never really getting to the food. With cast iron, that doesn't happen so much. So you need to back off the heat on the controls there in order to actually have the same cooking temperature. Anyway, so I just got to keep doing this so I don't get any scorching and get nice even cooking. You can see it's already starting to turn a little bit. It's got kind of a yellow look now instead of that milky white that it had before. Okay, we're about halfway there, I think. And for reference, this stuff's been on for about almost 25 minutes. So it's getting thick and it's about halfway to the right color. I added just a sprinkle of black pepper and a pinch of salt. Getting there. Won't be long now. I need a third hand really to do this. Okay, we're almost there. See how thick it's getting? Gets that sort of sandy look, consistency to it. Gotta keep stirring and keep stirring and keep stirring right now because we're really close and the heat's up on 6. I bumped it up about halfway through. Get a little bit more action there. But as you can see from the penny, it's not quite there yet. We got a little ways to go. But just want to just see the stages. Alrighty. Alright, we're just about there. We got some Mississippi mud going on in here. Okay, just turn the heat off. Skillet's gonna stay hot for a bit, so it'll kind of simmer a little bit longer. But I don't know if you can see the color so well because the camera is adjusting the exposure. But that's it. That's my color right there. See, it's not exactly like the penny. Kind of get the same hue. I don't know. I don't know my color words. Anyway, I'm going to take that and we're going to pour it into this stock pot. I got a pot here with water in it. I'm going to blanch the skin off the tomatoes. And you can see from the clock there that we're coming up on 1 o'clock. It'll take about another 4 hours or so for the flavor to kind of get to where I want it. But thought I'd show you a couple of things here. Last night I chopped up the celery and onions and bell pepper and sealed it in the food saver bag so it wouldn't dry out. Kept that in the fridge overnight. So we'll drop that in and pour the roux over top of it and cook that a little bit before we add anything else. We're using Carolina shrimp today. And as you can see here, but it's expensive to make gumbo. But this should be some pretty good shrimp. And got 3 tomatoes. May use the 4th one there. And I like celery tops in anything that celery helps with, and I think it tastes good in gumbo. And a couple packages, 2 pounds of fresh frozen sliced okra. Okay, we got the roux in the stock pot, and I just opened my bag. Man, there's garlic in here. Wow. Smells great. So this is all my, it's like 3 big stalks of celery, a couple big yellow onions, large green pepper, and 6 full-size garlic cloves minced up. So I'm just going to dump that in here. Took me, normally I'd just do this on the day I make the gumbo, but I took a cue from Dad and did my chopping the night before. But I wanted to put it in this vacuum sealed bag for my food saver, so it wouldn't dry out overnight. So let's see if we can let you take a look. And there we go. It looks kind of like mud, but we're just gonna stir that. Whoops, all around. Get everything coated really well. We're gonna cook this in the roux for a little bit until the onions go clear, and then we'll start adding water and other stuff. Okay. Yeah. Okay, we got veggies and mud in here. This is I'm adding a little warm water to our mixture here. I'm just mixing that in. I've been cooking this for about 20 minutes on a low heat with the lid on, kind of keep the moisture in. And so now I've got something that's kind of like paste. It was even gooier. We're going to leave that about on 3 because we're going to cook it with the lid on for a bit. The recipe that I use, which I got a long time ago, calls for a gallon of warm water to be added here. That usually is too much for my taste. I don't like my gumbo to be as thin as it is with that much liquid. I usually end up with about 3 quarts of water added, I think, by the time I'm done. So you get some water out of the tomatoes and just from these vegetables. And so that was 2 cups there that I warmed up in the microwave. And I use filtered water through the refrigerator filter, not bottled water. But anyway, so there we go. See, we got nice veggie sludge. Let's see if I can kind of show you what that looks like. Pretty thick goo. We're just going to let that cook for about 20 minutes. And then we'll start adding the other stuff. So, alright, awesome. And while the vegetables are cooking in the roux, I'm cleaning shrimp. Actually, the heads have been removed from these, but I got to take the shells off and devein them. So, that's what I'm doing. Well, this part right here is not a lot of fun. Cleaning these shrimp, I got a bunch, 2 pounds, and They've been in the fridge all night and they're still crusted with ice, which is actually helping to keep the smell down a little bit, I think. But anyway, these are medium-sized Carolina shrimp. I guess they were caught off the coast. Not sure. Okay. Okay, finally, after about an hour, I have shelled and deveined 2 pounds of shrimp. So we're just going to let this rest for a bit while we get the rest of this business going. So this is the crab meat I'm using for this batch. Got some bat fin lump. This was like $17. And, you know, I almost didn't get it because it's Chinese, but anyway, they didn't have the stuff that I usually like to use because I wasn't at Kroger. And then some claw meat. So, I don't know where that's from. It says product of the USA, but you never know what that means. Anyway, this is our crab meat. The last time I made gumbo, I used 2 cans this size. And first, it was really expensive. And second, it was a little too much crab. So I'm hoping that this will be not only just a nice blend, but a little bit less overpowering kind of flavor. All right. Okay, we're getting ready to blanch the tomatoes. So take the skin off a little easier. I'm just going to pop these guys in here. Just go ahead and do all through. Well, maybe we won't. There's a lot of water right there. Okay, I'll wait. Alright. So we got one done. The other one comes up in just a second. You can see the skin splits. Probably everybody on the planet knows that this is the best way to do this, but since I'm making the movie, I thought I'd include it. So this is the last. Whoa, fog us up here. So this is the base right here. All our Trinity's in there, and we've added. There's about a little over 6 cups of water. Probably reduced now to about 6 cups of water. And now that it's boiling a little bit, we're going to cut back on the heat and add okra and tomatoes. And any little special spices that you might like. I will put some cayenne pepper and a little bit of black pepper in mine. Also, if I have red wine, sometimes I'll put half a cup of that. So, good stuff. So everything's prepped now. Yeah, we got 2 pounds of chopped okra. This is the fresh frozen kind. Certain times of year I would prefer to use actual fresh, but that's 4 tomatoes chopped, and boy is that messy. About a half a cup of green onions, and I've got just a few sprigs of celery tops that I'll use. These guys will go in together pretty much at the end. And these things here I never know what to do with, but there you go. So, getting there. Okay. Hey, it's showtime. Okra. Slippery. And tomatoes. Oh yeah. Woo. The kitchen's a wreck, by the way. I'm just hiding it from you. Oh yeah. That's looking pretty good. Pretty good. So I'm going to mix this all together and turn the heat back up a little bit until this bubbles, and then we'll back it off and let it just simmer at a low boil for probably about an hour. And there's what it looks like. When I say about an hour, it just kind of depends. I don't cook on an exact temperature. You know, every time I kind of dial it in to where it's medium and let it boil. So, you know, you just kind of have to keep an eye on it. I check it about every 30 minutes at this point. And when it starts to look and smell right, then that's when I put the seafood in. And by right, I mean almost done. You know, you drop your seafood in, essentially just, I mean, because seafood cooks in, you know, 7 to 10 minutes, depending on what you got. So, maybe 15 tops. So you're, you know, once you add the seafood, you're about done. So, this is really the heart of the gumbo. I mean, at this point, this could be any kind of gumbo. I mean, right now, because if I were doing chicken and sausage, that would be what goes in. Actually, I would put it in a little earlier than seafood, but I would add chicken and sausage to this, or like in what I'm making, the seafood, crab and shrimp, and sometimes oysters, although I'm not doing that today. And then, you know, any other kind of protein. But this is your basic gumbo right here. Mmm. Sure smells good in here. Ooh, look at that. Good stuff. Alright. To calm down because I took the lid off and stirred it a little bit. But it's simmering now at a low heat. And I'll let this go. It's been on in this stage for just over half an hour. And I'm going to let it go for probably about another 15 or 20 minutes, and then I'm going to add the seafood. And it's 6:30 right now, so I started this at noon today. Did a few things in the studio while certain parts were able to maintain without me. But when you make this stuff, you can figure on, you know, half a day. Like I say, I chopped my Trinity last night to save some time because I knew I was going to be in the studio for a bit today. So, but on a typical day when I do everything in one day, I'll start at noon to have it ready for dinner. And I eat dinner about 7, so that's what I call dinner time. So 6 to 7 hours, and it's about half prep time and about half cooking. The thing that takes the absolute longest is cleaning the shrimp. You know, because I buy the raw shrimp, and it needs to be shelled and deveined, and 2 pounds of it takes a while. And I mean, standing at the sink, man, my back kills me by the time I'm done. So if you like your gumbo a little thicker than it comes out, this is what you want. Zatarain's Pure Ground Gumbo Filet. You just add a little bit of that to your gumbo. You know, when you serve it over your rice, and it'll thicken it up a little bit. You know, the water issue is variable, so if it comes out a little too juicy, this is a good fix. You know, obviously if it's... Oh, guess what? It's time to stir. Okay, so I just dumped in our lump crab meat. Pacifica is this brand. It's not what I usually buy, but it should work. And the claw meat. Stir that in a little bit. Wow, the claw meat's like a brick. It also, I discovered that there were a few pieces of, man, this stuff won't break up. There were a few pieces of shell in the bottom, just tiny ones, and of course it's crab claws, so they're not very thick. It's just annoying when you take a nice big bite of delicious gumbo and there's a little tiny piece of shell in there. with the gumbo feel anyway. So that's done. And now I've been draining the shrimp. We're gonna add, this is the 2 pounds of cleaned, deveined shrimp. And we are literally within minutes of being done here. I'll just let you take a look at what it looks like here. Hard to do your own cooking show. Anyway, there we go. So that's a little foggy. That's what we got. Oh yeah, look at that. Get all of that stirred up real good in there. We're just barely simmering here. I'm going to turn the heat up a little bit though. Once I get this big chunk of crab meat broken up. See, that's the claw meat, and it's in a solid chunk. They packed it in there. Anyway, so I'm going to break that up. I'm going to add this, it's a half a cup of parsley and some celery tops and green onions, which is the main thing. I just like to add the celery tops because I like the celery flavor in there. And then we're going to heat this till it boils a little bit, back it off a little bit, let it simmer then until the shrimp turns pink, and then we're going to call it done. Okay, all that's needed now is the onions and celery tops. So we're going to drop those in, stir them in, and I'll give you a quick peek at what it looks like inside there, and let that run for about 5 minutes, and it'll be dinner time. Of course, you know, we have to cook the rice, of course, which brings up a point. People of a certain age sometimes have to switch to brown rice. Don't use brown rice with gumbo. Use regular, you know, American white rice with gumbo. Brown rice, fine with other things, not so much with gumbo. All right, so here we go. Yeah, stir that all in, and we don't want this to cook very long. Just enough to kind of get the flavor in there, but before we lose the color. You know, the heat of the gumbo is going to brighten up the onions a little bit and release that flavor. And man, oh man, that's a lot of gumbo. So let's have you take a look here at what we got. So here we go. This is it. Okay, let me back up so that it doesn't fog up the camera. But there we go. We got about a pound and a half of crab in there. The shrimp, you can see they've turned out real nice. Just gonna let that simmer uncovered for, like I say, about 5 minutes or so, and then we'll start some rice. Okay. All right. Oh yeah, got rice cooking. Yum, yum. It's gonna be gumbo time in just about 5 minutes. Okay, folks, just a little PS for people who may not have a clue for how to do this. This is my rice base, and I'm going to pour the gumbo over top of that. As you can see, there's a good bit of cayenne pepper sauce on this. This is Crystal, which I like a lot. So that's about that's a little less than a cup, you know, after it's cooked. And I'll put you know, fill that to about right there, and it will be very filling and very tasty. So, all right, so the gumbo is done. I just wanted to show you these things. Apparently you can only get these online now. I don't know if Glad has stopped making them, but they're I don't know exactly what they're called, I forget. But it's a little 2-cup container that Glad makes, and you can still get these online at Amazon. And I use these things for a lot of stuff. Spaghetti sauce. They make different sizes. This is the 2-cup one. Sometimes the lids can be a little cantankerous. But anyway, it's 2 cups, and they work great for gumbo. Because for me, 2 cups of gumbo over a cup of rice is just about the right ratio. But they also work great for soups or spaghetti sauce. I mean, it's a you know, 2 cups is that's a pretty full serving. You know, so if you're not real hungry, you might want to have like a little less. So what I typically do is I'll you know, I'm looking at this right now and it says 1 cup. I'm lying, okay? It says 1 cup right there. I usually fill it right to this edge here, so I guess that would be probably about 1.5 cups. Okay, I just learned something. I thought these were 2 cups. Or maybe it's 2 cups all the way to the top. I don't know. Anyway, I think they rate this thing as a 2-cup thing. I know I sound like an idiot right now. Okay. Well, ignore that. Just look at this thing and go find it online. If you don't have something that works for you, this works great. If I can get this freaking lid on. Anyway, there you go. Made by Glad. I just recently ordered this little stack here. You can see there's one on the bottom. I've used it for some soup and any tomato based thing, which gumbo is. When you heat it, but especially the doodle soup that I make. Thanks, Tracy. It stains the crap out of these things, but who cares? I mean, it's they work. So anyway, that's it. So there's the gumbo. I'm gonna start the rice here in about 30 seconds, and enjoy 2 or 3 or 4 bowls before I go to bed, because I haven't had anything since breakfast, and I'm really hungry. Okay, so. Thanks for watching. I've never done a cooking video before, as you can obviously tell, and I don't even know how I'm going to edit these little segments all together to make it work. I got a program that I bought that's not even on my computer, so I guess I'll find out if that works. Anyway, happy Thanksgiving, happy gumbo making. That's all. Bye. So here we are with the extra helpings. As you can see, there's 11 servings here, and I just had a pretty big one. So we'll call that batch a 12 serving batch. And it could have been a little bit more if I'd added a bit more of the water. But I like my gumbo little on the thick side, so I try not to go much beyond about 2.5 quarts or so. So anyway, now we just put the labels on this stuff and try to find space in the freezer for it.